Have you ever experienced that sudden shift? At first, she was all in, constantly texting, planning dates, and showing genuine excitement to see you. But now, she's distant, cold, barely acknowledging you. Most guys panic, try to text more, make grand gestures, or even over-apologize. They chase her desperately, thinking it'll bring her closer. But here's the shocking truth. The more you chase, the further she pulls away. Women naturally gravitate toward what they fear losing, and when you're always available, she begins to take you for granted. So, what happens when you stop chasing, when you pull away and give her space to miss you? Her mind starts racing, and she can't help but wonder what's going on. She starts feeling the need to chase you. It's a simple but powerful shift in dynamic, and it's been proven to work time and time again. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this strategy is so effective, how it flips the power in your favor, and the exact steps to take when you see her start to chase you. This isn't just about playing games, it's about understanding attraction and mastering it. If you get this right, you'll never need to chase again, and she'll be the one coming after you. Are you ready to take control of the situation and let the magic happen? Keep watching, and you'll learn how. 1. Why women only chase. What they fear, losing. Women are naturally drawn to what they believe they could lose, not necessarily what they already have. Most men get this wrong by thinking that the more available, attentive, and consistent they are, the more a woman will appreciate them. But here's the truth. Human psychology doesn't work that way. People value what they perceive as scarce or difficult to obtain. Imagine in your own life, if something is always easy to access and you know it'll always be there, do you feel a sense of urgency to get it? Probably not. But as soon as something becomes uncertain or hard to reach, your focus sharpens, and suddenly you want it more than ever. This is exactly how attraction works for women. When a woman feels like a man is always there, texting back instantly, always available emotionally, and putting in constant effort, her brain doesn't register any risk of losing him, and without the fear of loss, there's no need to chase. But when there's a shift, when a man starts pulling back, creating space, or allowing her to wonder where he stands, that's when her emotions kick in. The idea of possibly losing someone valuable triggers something deep within her. She starts to question her feelings, rethink her decisions, and feel the desire to close the gap again. It's not about disappearing for good. It's about giving enough space for her to feel that subtle shift, the uncertainty that makes her wonder what she could lose. The magic happens when she feels like she's on the edge of losing you, even if just a little. That's when she starts to feel the pull. The key isn't to chase harder or prove your value more. It's in creating enough space for her to feel that emotional shift. 2. Why disappearing triggers. Her emotional instincts. On the surface, a woman may seem like she's the one in control when she pulls away. But what many men don't realize is that women's decisions are driven by deep emotional instincts, not just logic. When a man suddenly disappears, when his presence, attention, and energy aren't guaranteed anymore, it's like flipping a switch inside her emotional landscape. At first, she may brush it off, thinking you're just busy or distracted. But as time goes on, her emotional instincts take over, and what follows are stages that get more intense with each passing day. Stage 1. The illusion of control. At the beginning, when she pulls away, she feels in control of the situation. She expects you to notice her absence, to reach out, and to make an effort to regain her attention. This makes her feel powerful, like she's calling the shots. She might think to herself, if I want this to continue, I can always reach out and pick things back up. He's still there waiting for me. Stage 2. Doubt sets. As days go by without hearing from you, that initial sense of control begins to waver. Slowly, doubt creeps in. Why hasn't he reached out? Was I reading things wrong? Could he be moving on without me? This is when she starts checking her phone, rereading past messages, and noticing the growing emptiness where your attention once was. The longer you remain absent, the more that curiosity turns into concern. Though she still fights the urge to text you first, the emotional shift is happening. She begins to feel vulnerable, uncertain, and that's when the true power dynamic starts to shift. As her emotional instincts continue to evolve, the sense of control she once had starts to slip away, replaced with the growing desire to reconnect. This is exactly when things start to get interesting, when she feels the emotional pull and begins to wonder what could have been lost. Disappearing even just a little forces her to confront her deeper emotions and question her own feelings. And that's when the magic starts to happen. Stage 3. Emotional tension builds. At this point, the emotional tension starts to escalate. She's no longer just thinking about you casually. She's actively looking for signs that you're still there. She starts rereading old messages, trying to relive the connection that once felt so natural. She checks your social media profiles, searching for any hint that you're still engaged, still thinking about her. She may even ask mutual friends about you, fishing for information to see if you've been talking to anyone else. Without even realizing it, she's investing mental and emotional energy into you. Attraction isn't built on what's said. It's about how much someone spends time thinking about you, wondering about you, and even missing you. The moment she starts obsessing over your absence, the power dynamic shifts entirely. You've gone from being a constant presence to something uncertain, and now she's the one trying to piece together the mystery of what's happening. This stage is where the emotional tension begins to grow as her thoughts and feelings begin to revolve more and more around you. Stage 4. The need to reconnect takes over. By now, her thoughts have transitioned from curiosity to emotional need. She's no longer just missing your presence. She's feeling your absence in a deeper, more intense way. The emotional void left by your disappearance becomes harder to ignore. The pull to reach out, to see if you've moved on without her, becomes almost overwhelming. This is the point where she can no longer stay silent. The desire to reconnect takes over. Her first move might be small, a casual message, a comment on an old post, or maybe a flimsy excuse to break the silence. But don't be fooled, this is no random action. She's reaching out because she needs to know where you stand. She's testing the waters, and this is the critical moment where things could go one of two ways. How you handle her reaching out will determine whether she fully chases after you, or if she reclaims the power and pulls back again. If you respond in a way that re-establishes your emotional distance or makes her feel unsure again, she might pull back, regaining her sense of control. But if you respond in a way that keeps her guessing, keeps her chasing, the power will be in your hands. This is the moment where the chase truly begins. 3. The mistake most men make. When she comes back. When she reaches out, her mind is racing with uncertainty. Does he still care? Has he moved on? Is he mad at me? This is the critical moment, and unfortunately, it's where most men make their biggest mistake. They assume that because she's texting again, everything is back to normal, and they jump at the chance to reconnect. They respond quickly, perhaps even too eagerly, acting excited, relieved, and eager to keep the conversation flowing. They think, she finally realized she wants me back. But here's the thing, by acting this way, all the emotional tension she built up while you were gone instantly evaporates. The fear of loss? Gone. The uncertainty disappears. Now she no longer feels the need to chase. She doesn't question her decision to pull away anymore. In fact, by your overly eager response, she regains control of the situation. If she was just testing to see if she still held power over you, this is when she confirms that she does. And once that power is in her hands again, she might lose interest all over again. The cycle repeats, but this time it will be even worse. She'll pull away once more, but now she'll do so with more detachment, and the emotional space between you two will grow larger. The tension that once made her chase you will be gone, and it's much harder to rebuild that attraction. You've let her regain control, and now the power dynamic has shifted back in her favor. This is why it's crucial to play it cool when she comes back. Respond, but don't overdo it. Keep her guessing, keep her wanting more, and maintain the mystery. That's how you keep her chasing, instead of falling right back into the same old cycle. 4. How to handle it like a high-value man. When she reaches out, your response must exude calmness, neutrality, and a sense of detachment. You must resist the urge to act overly excited or relieved, as though you've been waiting for this moment. That type of eagerness shows weakness, and that's the last thing you want. The key here is to stay relaxed, keep things low effort, and avoid giving her the validation she's seeking. If she texts you, don't rush to respond. Wait a little while before replying. When she asks how you've been, keep it simple and nonchalant. I've been good, just keeping busy. This sends the message that your life is thriving, and you weren't sitting around waiting for her to come back. If she suggests meeting up, don't immediately jump on the offer. Let her put in the effort to make it happen. If she's genuinely interested, she'll be willing to put in the work to see you. By doing this, you're showing her that your world didn't stop just because she pulled away. This signals that you're still the same high-value man she was initially drawn to, confident, busy, and living life on your terms. The more she senses that you are unbothered by her absence, that your life is full and flourishing, the more she will be compelled to pull herself back in. Attraction thrives on the feeling of scarcity, and when she sees that your time and energy are valuable, she'll want to chase it. You've just flipped the power dynamic, and now it's all in your hands. The psychological impact of your absence. What most men fail to grasp is just how deeply a woman's emotions are wired to respond to uncertainty. When you remove your presence, it's not just something she notices on the surface. It's like a switch goes off in her brain, signaling that something important is missing. This isn't about games or manipulation. It's about understanding basic human nature. When something that was once consistent, your attention, presence, and validation, suddenly disappears, her subconscious mind goes into overdrive. At first, she may try to convince herself that it's fine. I needed space anyway, she might say. But as time goes on, and you don't react, she begins to feel something unfamiliar. Discomfort. The kind of discomfort that comes from unanswered questions and unspoken thoughts. Her mind starts racing, searching for reasons, explanations, anything to make sense of why you're no longer seeking her out. Why isn't he texting me like before? Did something change? Is he moving on? Was I wrong about him? This psychological imbalance starts to create a desire within her. The second her mind becomes consumed with these questions, she has entered the emotional loop of uncertainty. And here's the key. Attraction doesn't thrive on security. It thrives on imbalance. When you were constantly available, she felt secure, yes, but too secure. There was no emotional challenge, no reason for her to fight for your attention. But once you pull back, you introduce that challenge, and that's when desire begins to build. This is what makes her chase. She needs to restore the balance. She needs to know if she still has power over you, or if pulling away was a mistake. Her mind won't let her rest until she finds out. That's why disappearing, when done right, is so powerful. It's not about playing tricks. It's about giving her mind the space to react, to ask questions, and to feel a genuine sense of emotional need. And once that process begins, you've already won. The fear of replacement. Why she panics in silence. One of the most powerful fears a woman experiences when she senses your absence is the fear of being replaced. Women understand that high-value men, the ones who are confident, emotionally in control and desirable, always have options. So when you stop chasing her, her first thought isn't just, "Where did he go?" It's, "Who is taking my place?" Why this fear grows over time. At first, she might reassure herself that she's in control of the situation. "He's probably just giving me space. I can reach out whenever I want," she might think. But as time passes and you make no effort to reconnect, the seed of doubt begins to take root. Her mind starts to wander. She wonders if you've already moved on. She starts picturing you with someone else, wondering what you could be doing without her. The illusion of control she once had begins to fade, and with it, the sense of power she thought she possessed. The possibility of losing you to another woman triggers an emotional urgency she wasn't expecting. This feeling of being replaced, of slipping away from your life, creates an intense drive to regain control and certainty. How women react to the fear of being replaced. This fear is what drives her to start testing you. She doesn't want to admit to herself that she's feeling threatened or vulnerable, so instead, she begins making small, calculated moves. She might message you randomly, pretending it's just a passing thought. She may watch your social media stories, like an old post, or engage in a way that seems casual but is really a way to check if you'll react. She might try to create opportunities to see you without explicitly asking for them, hoping you'll initiate. These aren't random actions. They are carefully crafted moves to see if she still holds power over you. How you handle this moment determines everything. This is the critical moment where everything hangs in the balance. If you immediately jump on her interest, shower her with attention, or act overly eager, she'll regain control, and the chase is over. The power shifts back to her, and she knows you were waiting for her. This not only undermines your position, but also removes the emotional challenge. However, if you stay calm, composed, and unbothered by her attempts to draw you in, you create even more uncertainty in her mind. The more unreactive you remain, the more she'll spiral into doubt, and that's when she truly begins to chase. 6. When she comes back, this is the test you must pass. If you've handled things properly, she will return. It might begin with a simple message, a random reaction to something you posted, or an excuse to start a conversation. But make no mistake, this is a test. She wants to see if you're still emotionally invested in her. If you respond immediately, show excitement, or try to pick up things where you left off, her interest will quickly fade. Why? Because she'll know you were waiting for her, and that undermines her sense of power. If she feels that she still holds control over you, the cycle of her pulling away and you chasing will repeat itself. How to respond. Without losing your power. When she comes back. Your response should be measured, calm, and composed. No excitement, no validation, no desperation. Keep the conversation light, short, and low effort. Show that you have your own life, your own priorities, and that her return doesn't affect your emotional state. Let her put in the effort to rekindle things. If she truly regrets pulling away, she won't just text once and disappear again. She'll start working to build the connection. She'll initiate more conversations, show genuine interest in your life, and make efforts to see you. By maintaining your emotional composure and letting her put in the work, you maintain control of the situation, and the chase truly begins. 7. The subconscious war in her mind. At this stage, something deeper is happening in her mind, something she can't ignore. even if she tries to act unbothered or convinces herself she made the right decision by pulling away, her subconscious is at war. Why? Because when something that was once certain becomes uncertain, the human brain enters a state of internal conflict. One part of her is telling herself, I needed space, and I don't owe him anything. I can always go back if I want. If he really cared, he'd still be trying. But another part, the emotional side, is telling her, why isn't he chasing me? Did I completely misread his feelings? Is he really okay without me? Did I make a mistake? This internal conflict breeds anxiety, and the moment she starts associating anxiety with losing you, the desire to get you back grows stronger. This is how attraction works. It isn't driven by logic, words, or reasoning. It's fueled by emotion. When emotions are intensified by the fear of loss, fear of being wrong, and fear of missing out, her desire to chase you becomes overwhelming. 8. How she tries to pull you back without admitting it. Women rarely come out and say, I miss you, I want you back. Instead, they test the waters first, because vulnerability isn't easy to admit. They want to see if you're still emotionally attached, but they don't want to outright express that longing. So, instead of being obvious, she'll try to pull you back subtly. Here's how she'll do it. Indirect texts. She might send vague, seemingly random messages, hoping you'll take the bait. For example, hey, I saw something today that reminded me of you. Hope you're doing okay. How have you been? Social media moves. If direct texting feels too bold, she'll try to make you notice her through social media. She might like your old posts, post something emotional that seems unrelated, but is actually meant for you, or watch all your stories without engaging. The goal is to get you to reach out first. Accidental encounters. If she knows the places you go, she might show up there by chance. She'll act like it's a coincidence, but it's carefully planned to make you break first. These subtle moves are designed to make you engage and show you're still emotionally invested. However, if you fall for these subtle cues too quickly, you risk undoing the progress you've made. The key is to not react impulsively. 9. The right way to handle it when she comes back. When she finally reaches out, how you respond will make all the difference in maintaining your power. Here's how to handle it the right way. Do not respond immediately. When you get that first text, don't rush to reply. Take your time. This shows that you aren't desperate for her attention and that you have other priorities. Keep it short and neutral. Your response should be calm, simple, and low effort. For instance, hey, been busy. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, all good on my side. Just been focusing on things. This is a neutral answer that doesn't overemphasize her presence or leave her feeling like you're desperately waiting for her. Do not re-engage too quickly. If she genuinely wants to reconnect, she will continue the conversation, ask more questions, or suggest plans. If she only responds minimally or doesn't put in any effort to make plans, it's clear that she was only testing to see if she still had control over you. By responding in a controlled, neutral manner and allowing her to invest effort, you maintain the power dynamic and ensure that the chase continues on your terms. Make her work for your attention. If she wants to see you, let her be the one to make the first move. Don't jump at every opportunity. If she starts investing in you again, don't reward her immediately. Let her demonstrate through her actions, not just her words, that she genuinely wants to be there. By making her earn your attention, you're establishing your value and reminding her that you're not easily won over. Continue living your life. This is where most men get it wrong. Women are naturally attracted to men who have their own mission, who are focused on their goals, and who don't emotionally depend on them for validation. When she sees that your world doesn't revolve around her, she'll feel drawn to you even more. She'll start to wonder if you're better off without her, which makes her want to invest more and prove she's the one you should want. This is how you make her chase, not by playing games, not by pretending to be something you're not, but by genuinely being a man who doesn't need to chase in the first place. Many men fear that walking away will cost them their chance with a woman, but in reality, the opposite is true. A woman only truly values a man she believes she could lose. If she returns, it's not because you begged, pleaded, or chased. It's because her emotions pulled her back to you. And if she doesn't come back, then she was never truly invested in you from the start. Either way, you win because the man who is willing to walk away is the one who never has to chase in the first place. Keep this mindset, and you'll never find yourself in a position where you have to chase.